Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Western Spirit. Today, we're going to talk about something that we all hear about on the news. We hear and we understand that something big is happening. Where I'm sitting here in next to Tel Aviv in Israel, up north, not too far from where we are. In the past month or so, we've seen the regime in Syria fall. Bashar al-Assad, the dictator of Syria, run away to Moscow. We've seen numerous rebel groups take control with the backing, obviously, a lot of the main ones, I think, of Turkey and different groups like that. And obviously, also the Americans are training people. One of the groups in Syria that I think we need to talk about, and this is the episode to do it, is the Kurds in Syria and in Kurdistan in general. And I think, first of all, as Jewish people, as Israelis, we have a special bond with the Kurds, and we'll talk about it with our guest. But other than that, also, it's important to note that the Kurds in Syria are in very big danger now, and they feel it, and they need our support and our help. And I think that is very important, and that's the reason why we're going to talk with our guest. And so our guest name, we're not going to bring up her real name, so we're going to use a pseudonym for the show. Her name, we're going to use the name Newroz. And the reason is because she's very worried about her family that's in Syria right now, and any danger that might come to them from her talking to us. So, Newroz, it's very good to speak with you, and it's an honor.
Hi, Ariel. Thank you. It's an honor for me too to be here with you.
Thank you so much. Likewise, let's maybe just, before we get into the issue at hand, maybe just explain to us what from your speaking with your family in Syria, what is happening right now in Syria?
Ariel, what's going on in Syria is crazy, to be honest. First, everybody, Kurds, like everybody, we are very happy that the dictator is gone. Of course, because Kurdish people suffered a lot from Syrian regime. Kurdish people were the first victims of Syrian regime since ever. I can speak for my family. My family is stateless because during Syrian regime and Jamal Abdel Nasser, they took the citizenship from 500,000 Kurds, and my family were one of them. So we suffered a lot for being stateless, living in Syria. But Syria was handed to jihadists. So jihadists just took over. It's like coming from worse to even more worse. Over the night, things happen very fast. Everyone is shocked. Nobody believed that this is real. Even the jihadi leader, if you look at his face, he was like in total shock. How come from Idlib I took all over Syria? And if you look at how military they moved, it's nothing. Nobody stopped them. Everybody just handed over to them, And of course, I want to say something very important, that the past 2 years, 1 year and a half, since the 7th of October, we saw the bravery of IDF and what they did for the humanity, because they have been fighting Iran, Hezbollah, Hamas terrorists, everybody. And that was one of the reasons, I would say, the victory is to IDF. Jihadis didn't free anybody. IDF freed Middle East because IDF fought Iran and did the job done. And then suddenly Turkey handed it to the jihadists. That's what I want to say. That's why we all were happy in Middle East, especially Kurdish people. When Hassan Nasrallah was gone, when Iran was weakened, we were very, very happy. But it's not fair to say the jihadists have freed Syria. I would give the credit to the brave people of IDF, to the brave soldiers of IDF, to be honest, to Israel, that they are the one clean the Middle East from this vicious forces. But it's sad that jihadists took over.
Newroz, before, maybe just explain to us where the Kurdish places where Kurds live in Syria are, and what are they seeing now? Are they worried that, because there's all these, Julani, the head of the rebels that took over most of Syria, is saying that he promises the West he's not going to massacre the minorities in Syria. Are the Kurds worried about this? Are they getting ready to fight back, to protect their places? What exactly behind the scenes is happening there?
Ariel, Kurds control around 35% of Syrian geography. We also control 90% of the Syrian resources. We have kept it safe, the 6 million Syrians who live in the Kurdish territory. We have kept it safe for many years from the hand of Iranian, from the Syrian regime, from Turkey, from Daesh for the past 10 years, 13 years. And what happened is he says Ahmad Shara Jolani. I prefer to say Jolani because he's famous for Jolani. Jolani, he said one thing in Arabic. He said, things will not go back to the Syrian regime's time. But the Kurds suffer a lot after Syrian regime too. So for him, it's okay that the ISIS comes slaughter us. And that's what we see. He didn't criticize the Turkey Erdogan. I would prefer to say Erdogan because I believe that many citizens of Turkey too, they hate Erdogan too, because I believe people don't understand this about the Kurdish people. We have no problem with Turkish civilians, not at all. Erdogan is the problem for the entire world. So Erdogan occupy a big territory of Syria, and what Erdogan do is not like occupy, take it for himself or give it to good people. He handed directly to ISIS. So what worries us is not there is no watch over them. For example, I would take the city of Manbij and Tel Rifat. Tel Rifat, we have around 5,000 Kurdish people. We don't know where they are. We don't know what happened to them. Just
right
over
now, we don't know where they are.
Yeah,
right
we
now?
don't know where they are. We don't know where the jihadis have took them. They were surrounded by the jihadis in Tel Rifat and Shahba. We managed to bring around 15,000 from there, but 5,000 we don't know what happened to them. We know for sure that there was videos coming from that region, beheading, raping women, the Kurdish women who fought ISIS. For the past 13 years, we fought ISIS, and now we are handed to ISIS. So this is the situation. This is why we are worried. We also worry for Israel because Hamas is a terrorist organization, is ISIS. Hamas, imagine, is a kindergarten for ISIS. To be honest, because I want to ask you what's different between why 7 October was very special. Because the operation was led by ISIS ideology this time. ISIS don't care how advanced weapon you have. Your weapon cannot stop a man who take children, Israeli children and Israeli women, and enslave them, do harm to them and kill them, behead them. They don't care. It's not like they send you rockets. Maybe Iron Dome stop rockets, but who will stop the ideology?
Yes.
So this is very dangerous for you, for us, you know?
So maybe just also another thing that we should know beforehand is during when ISIS was spreading the first time, the Kurdish fighters were, and the Kurdish women fighters also were very, very brave and were able to do a lot of good for the whole world. Basically, kill a lot of these terrorists, stop them, arrest them. We know that in Syria, in the Kurdish territories, if I'm not mistaken, there's prisons where ISIS people from then are still in the prison right now. And one of the worries of the West and of other people is that these jihadists that are taking over now will try to get them out of jail from the Kurdish prisons. So maybe just explain to us, give us a little bit about what the Kurdish fighters did in their bravery, and especially the women, because in the Middle East, maybe except for Israel, there's no other army that lets women fight. And so that we have also in common, and also Western countries should find that admirable. So give us a little bit about that.
Ariel, we Kurdish people don't like war. And you know that we are like Israeli people. We never go fight other people. We respect all our neighborhood like Israel, you know this. And we had to defend ourselves. So Kurdish women, we are not like love to go front line and fight and kill. But we had to, because we force an enemy that come to your home, take your woman, daughter, whatever, God forbidden, younger, 1 year years old to 45 years old, and they slave them. So Kurdish women, and the funny thing, the ISIS say, if you are killed by the hand of a man, you go to heaven. And if you are killed by the hand of a woman, you go to hell. That's why Kurdish women, we said we will send them to hell. We went to frontline. You want the hell? We're not going to get 72 version. You're going to go to hell. So that's why we send Kurdish women to frontline, because we want to protect ourselves. We don't like the war, of course, but you have to be able to protect yourself from this monster ISIS ideology. So after we finished the war, as you know, Kurdish and Israelis, IDF and Kurdish forces, we don't kill soldiers who surrounded themselves or we capture them. We gave them medical system. That's happening in Israel and that's happening in Kurdistan too. We don't behead people like what they do, ISIS, Hamas, and this. We don't do that. So we have a lot of thousands of ISIS family. Imagine the kids of the ISIS now, all of them are 18 years, 15 years. So it's entire generation. We have a camp in Hasaka city, Al-Hol. It's an ISIS family. It's their kids. We try to make centers for them, but they say we will follow our fathers and like this, you know. And we have the ISIS big presence in Tabqa and Raqqa and Al-Manbij. It's very big. And it's funny, Al-Jolani, when the Kurds sent him message to negotiate, to find a solution for entire Syria, to tell him, okay, you are a fact now. Let's work together to stop Erdogan from fulfill his plan. He only said to the Kurds, I want Al-Hasaka and I want Al-Raqqa. And you know what's Hasaka? Hasaka is my city, is a Kurdish city, because it has one of the biggest ISIS prison. And Al-Raqqa too, he wants them. He didn't say anything. So you imagine, he wants to free his comrades, the jihadists. He wants to do that. Because if you listen to all Arabic videos, all his, the people who is now a little bit upset with him, they say, Jolani, take our mujahideen out. So that's the call, take the mujahideen out. That's what they want. We Kurds, we try in the same time, Turkey attack. We have 3-4 front lines and we have to protect the prison because 4 years ago it happened, the prison break in Hasaka. It happened because Turkey attacked Kurdish region with the drones and many hundreds of ISIS in the prison of Hasaki managed to escape. So that's what happened and they just escaped. So, yeah.
Yeah. So, Newroz, one more question, just so we understand the complex. How the Kurds in Syria and the Kurds in what's now Turkey and Iraq and all these countries around there, you are all connected, also family, right, and also ethnic and religiously. So, what would be the dream of the Kurdish people? Just so we know the end game. You want a state of your own, right? Like all the other states. You want, I guess now in Syria, which should be obvious that Syria, like we know in the past, seems ridiculous to try to make it back one state for all these factions that hate each other. And this would be an opportunity for you, the Kurdish people, to reach out to the world and say, we deserve our own state. We show that we can defend ourselves. We can have our own economy, etc., etc. So is that something that the people right now in Kurdish, what's called Syria, are trying to bring out to the world through people like you and other people?
Ariel, we Kurdish people geographically divided. But all the Kurds, we come to one point, we want Kurdistan. Because we never felt safe in any country we live in. They never gave us chance to be part of that country. So when we ask them, we want our right, they say they have become dictators. And when we ask for our country, they say that we are separatists. But inside every Kurdish person, yes, we want Kurdistan. No matter we have some corrupted leaders, maybe some coward leaders. Exactly now, we have some coward leaders now who says, let's seek for peace, let's protect our people. But it's historical time. If it's up to me now, no compromise. We will have a Kurdish territory in Syria. We have fought very hard for our freedom, for the freedom of people who live in our territory. We fought vicious, dark forces, and now it's time we get our land back. Syria should not be one piece. It will be a huge historical mistake like they did in Iraq. You know, to be honest, who will get advance from all this? Because Erdogan, I want to tell him, you are not lasting, Habibi. Erdogan is just his dream to make an Islamic state on the border of Israel. You're not achieving your dream because you're not lasting for long. So whatever you do is only Iran benefiting from. Yeah. Because if you look back, I want to tell this message is very important. When Syrian war started in 2011, before that, Iran was not in Syria, maybe little influence, but not much. We all know this. We cannot deny this fact. After this failure jihadist movement, 50% of Syria fell in the hand of Iran. Erdogan, why he didn't do anything about that? No, of course, he wouldn't do anything because for him, the most important is to destroy the Kurdish dream. It's not to make a Kurdistan a country. For him, it doesn't matter. ISIS, everybody. So my request is, yes, we want the Kurdistan, and Kurdistan will happen. And I hope you don't look of the request of the coward Kurdish leaders. And the Kurdish people, we want our country. If not happen now, it will happen tomorrow. One day it will happen, for sure. And we want it now because it's a historical opportunity now. We have our resources, we have economy, we have our forces. We also have our education system. We have a government, you know. We have entire education system. Since 10 years ago, the Kurdish people will create education system. We removed all anti-Semitic subject in our books that was forced by Syrian regime. When first time we had a chance, we removed all the anti-Semitic subject. So the generation of 10 years now, they studied books with no anti-Semitic. So we did all this, you know, for the past 10, 15 years. And, you know, yes, we want Kurdistan.
Newroz, what, when you speak to people that are on the ground in Syria right now, how do they expect that the forces of the new leadership or Jolani and all these jihadist forces, there's like a bunch of groups, not only his, there's more radical, less radical. There's not one organization, but he's the biggest one, it seems. Do they expect them to try to go into Kurdish towns more than they already did? Are they, bulking up forces of soldiers and weapons, trying to get ready for the scenario that might come?
Can you repeat your question again?
Are the people on the ground in Kurdistan and Syria that you're talking to, are they worried that the new regime, the new people, the Jolani people, the ISIS people, all the radical forces, are they expecting them to come into more Kurdish towns to try to capture places, to kill people, to kidnap people? Are they expecting this to happen in the near future?
Yes, of course, because we have around 3 million Arabs lives in our territory first. And, what happened in Syria has a domino effect because these 3 million, they joined the coalition, they joined the Kurds in a fight against ISIS. But now, when they see that jihadist is winning, they also say, why we are with these Kurdish who have been abandoned? Let's join the jihadists. Mm-hmm. So, we are not scared from any attack from the ground, but we are scared because Erdogan is using a NATO weapon, drones and airplanes, and he's sending ISIS on the ground. Kurdish forces on the ground, we are very, very strong. We have a Kalashnikov. It's good enough to be finished with these jihadists because they are cowards in the end of the day, you know. But when Turkey uses NATO's advanced weapon, drones and airplanes to back them up on the air. We don't have a ceasefire. We don't have a defense air system. Yes, we are scared because immediately when Erdogan take a region, that's the thing. And soon enough, they will mobilize the Arabs who lives in Kurdish territory. And the problem for us, We can give the Kurdish, the Arabic cities to the Arabs, to the jihadists. The problem, that region is very, it's very strategic because it has a lot of oil and gas. And if it's fall in the hand of the jihadists, they will have a lot of money. So I'm just asking the coalition or Israeli government, are you aware of what's going on? And the solution is very simple. We've seen that when the coalition airplane go over the Arabic region, nobody do anything. On Raqqa, there is, or when they just fly over the region because everybody feels secure that the coalition is still there. The solution is very easy: to keep Erdogan into his border. Just don't let him use the drone and the airplanes, and we can manage. Trust me. Mm-hmm. And it's so sad because when things in Syria happened, Kurds were ready even to arrive to Damascus. Trust me, because the desert in Syria, between Deir ez-Zor and Damascus, only ice is there. There is no Al-Jolani, there is nobody, there is pure ice there. And with little support, we could arrive with the Druze from the south and we from the north. We could arrive to Damascus, but no, the world, unfortunately, as usual, they do. They choose the jihadists. I want to say something. For me, I start to observe that since 7th of October. When a Free Palestine movement in Europe, I see among the demonstration, ISIS flag was raising. Free Palestine is a pure ISIS movement. ISIS adopted Free Palestine movement. Yes. And I start to worry. I told my friends, what's going on? Why ISIS is leading this? And it looks like the world, the liberal movement in the world are adopting the jihadists. Jihadists is the new baby of the world.
Yes.
To be honest, I would say that.
We've done a lot of episodes and stories in the paper also about this, that the progressive movement, the more on the left-wing liberal side, has become so liberal they're accepting the jihadis and being against those who fight them, whether it's here or in the Kurds or other freedom fighters all over the world. And instead they're saying, we're so accepting of people who are supporting or even committing atrocities to innocent and free-loving people. Maybe also another thing that we've been talking about in Israel is the behind the scenes. There's debate among Israelis, Israeli leaders and cabinet members and the army and the Mossad, whether to help the Kurds in arming them and helping them with intelligence. It's a real thing that's happening here, a debate among our people, among the leaders here. So what would you say to the leaders of Israel, the Israeli security establishment, who are saying maybe we shouldn't get involved, maybe we shouldn't, we have our own problems. A lot of countries are probably saying that, but we're right next to you. So what would you say to Israelis here, the top people in Israel that maybe are thinking of not helping the Kurds?
I wanted to say to Mr. Saidni Bibi Netanyahu, I want to tell him this is because, to be honest, for the past 2 weeks, 3 weeks, we have seen great amount support of many leaders of Israel. I don't want to mention the name, but I can say the foreign ministry have been very big support of Kurdish people. And it made so much huge sense because we felt you are there for us. And, but in the past 3 weeks, we haven't heard anything from Mr. Bibi Netanyahu. I wanted to tell him because we have respect for him and, he's one of the world leaders. And I wonder when 7th of October happened, when Erdogan went out, the first leader in the world, the NATO member, and he started to attack Israel. He even said, I will occupy Israel.
Yes.
I would say the president, Bibi Netanyahu, you are one of the world leaders and your voice is very strong. When you went to the UN, one of your speak few weeks ago and 1 month or 2 months ago, you said we will make a coalition with the Kurds and American and Saudis and modern. I remember personally, you said all this. And what happened after? Nothing happened. We need more action from you. You didn't give any statement for the past 3 weeks, which I think we needed because we respect you and we believe that you can do so much. We are very happy that Israel took your mountain back from Syria. It's your territory. It's your right. If you have worked with the Kurds, you could even have secure more your border. I will be very honest with you. If you work with the Druze, with the Kurds, with the right people, you could have even more. But I want to say, Kurdish people, we are very strong. We don't need you to go and fight for us. We are fighting for you, by the way, for the past 15 years, for the past 100 of years. Kurdish people, we never become a part of any anti-Semitic gang that's going on. We never partner with Iran. We never partner with Turkey, not with the Iraqi government, not with Syrian government. The fight we do is for you too. We don't want you to go fight with us. We have enough forces. We have 60 million Kurdish people. We don't need you. All we need you, the Jews around the world, especially in America, in Europe, make a pressure on your governments to stop supporting Erdogan, because the solution is so ridiculously easy to keep Erdogan's drones and airplanes that he gets from NATO into his border. One statement from American state can stop him, to be honest. Only one statement. We only want this. Yeah, of course, if you can give weapon and stuff, that will be great. But I don't think personally is needed as much as you stop this Islamic Sultan Erdogan. Because Erdogan is no good to have him as a neighbor. I'm telling you today, I talked to Israelis in 2019. I will be honest with you. I told them I came to Israel 2020, 2021. I said, guys, this is very weird. You don't understand. Jihadist movement is growing so much. And then 7 of October happened. Today is us. God forbidden, tomorrow will be you. We have to, politically, you have so much power politically to help the Kurdish people. Do that. Talk to American. Bibi, call Trump. Call him. Please call him. Call him, say you don't want the jihadist. You don't want Erdogan. So easy. It's not difficult, you know. But I'm a little bit upset with Bibi. Yeah. He didn't say anything the past 3 weeks. And why we are upset? Because we respect him. We expect him to lead in this situation, you know. Yeah. And it's best for Israel, because we Kurdish people, we are, most of us, we are Zionists.
Newroz, I wanna ask you about that now. So what is the connection between the Kurds and the Jews? Why is there such a kinship? It seems to me, tell me if you agree, that both the Jews and the Kurds are trying for years on years to get their own state, to make their nationality be on print, to control their own destiny. We've both been persecuted by our neighbors and our host countries all over the world. We've both been slaughtered and come up from the ashes to build ourselves over and over again. Is that something that also the Kurds look at Israel and see, through all their hardships, we're able to make this country Israel, and you're looking at us as sort of, if they could do it, we could also do it, and we should stand together?
Yeah, I will first tell you what Kurds think of Jewish people and Israel. I don't know how much this fact is real, but I want to tell you how we think. We first think Abraham was born in Kurdistan, and we have so much respect for that. And since then, we believe that we have a similar history, so much similar history. And we are one of the oldest indigenous people. The only two actually are the real from Mesopotamia. You know, it's the Jewish people and the Kurdish people. We lived there before anybody to live there. We are the life of proof of how new others are. That's why they want to kill both of us, because we are history. They are trying to make their new history, whose old history is us, is Jewish people, is Israel and Kurdistan. And it's very important because through all this history, the Jewish people never harm Kurdish people. The Kurdish people never harm Jewish people. We all know this. The fact is, take a Kurdish people as example. We never joined the gang of anti-Israel until now. Anti-Semitism have no presence in Kurdistan. Not at all. And the history of struggle, of course, Kurdish people struggled a lot. I cannot compare it with the Holocaust, because for me as a person, when I see Holocaust is another level of struggling, is beyond struggling. We struggle too, you struggle. Maybe our struggle is a different level, but it's in the same cause. What's cause is people who are anti-Kurds and anti-Israel. They do that. We have common enemy. Don't think it's wrong. Sometimes I hear some people say Kurdish forces in Syria, they work with Iran. It's so crazy. During the 10 of October, you know how many times since the Syrian war, the Iran have been offering the a Kurdish state in Syria, if you give me the resort and Raqqa, if you let me do what I want, we refuse because we don't want to partner with them. After 10th of October, I got many calls from Kurdish commanders telling me, Sasha, how we can help them. How we can help them. We want to help our brothers and sisters in Israel. They said that. And, if you look at the news, I don't know, Arabic news, you can look at it. After 7th of October, the only place in Syria where they fought the Iranian in the resort, was the Kurdish forces. They did that, but nobody wants to talk about this because, when a good person does something, it's taken for granted. But when a jihadist tell the world, I'm not ISIS, I'm just jihadi now. It's like you bring a former thief after he's been in a school for a couple of months and you give him the key of the museum. No, I'm not thief. I'd had some courses. No matter what Jolani, what kind of forms and uniforms he wears as in Arabic country, we say Zelensky shirt. No matter how much he wears, doesn't work. It doesn't work because it's ISIS. And ISIS, their mission is to come to Jerusalem.
Yes.
And to destroy Kurdistan because they called us, it's funny, we went there, we got a lot of intel from the jihadist groups on Telegram. They were saying the Kurds are the filthy Jewish pigs. The filthy Jewish pigs. Kill them, find them. They call us second of Israel. That shows so much. Even in Palestine, I was shocked. Like when they ask people, you want to support Kurdistan? They say no. We don't want why Palestinian you don't want Kurdistan? Why you are only 2 million and you say you want to have country? You have no historical proof for you even exist. You're not even a real Arabs. They're not even real Arabs. The children of Ottomans, they say we want a country, and for Kurdistan they say no. You understand? That's how they refuse the right of Kurdish people. They refuse the right of Israel to have their own country.
But why? Because they say that the Kurds are like the Jews and they don't like the Jews, so they don't like the Kurds.
Because we stand, because we stand against, we don't accept to be part of this low moral values they live in. The jungle they want to make Middle East to. Israelis and the Kurds, we refuse them. They don't like us. They want us to go around and say, Allahu Akbar, let's kill everybody.
Yeah.
That's what they want. We don't want that. So, because Kurdish people, we believe so much the existence of Israel. The right we are.
Yeah, I think that we can say that, I'll give my opinion, that Israel has an opportunity here, but also an opportunity to do good and an opportunity to do not good. And we need to, like we're doing in this south part of Syria, taking over the side of the Hermon mountain, the Syrian side, in order to protect our people. And the Druze in that area of Syria are saying, we want your protection, we want your help. We also need to help the Kurds, and maybe not, like you said, not send soldiers there. That's not what they're asking, but also help to try to contain Erdogan, to try to tell our American friends to contain him, our NATO allies to contain him, to make sure that he doesn't do because he has made it clear all over that he does not like the Kurds and he likes the jihadis. He's made that pretty clear over and over again throughout his reign in Turkey. And so I think our help needs to be maybe weapons on the side, but more diplomatically, and trying to voice our support for the Kurds, extend our olive branch to make them allies out in the open, and not behind the scenes hiding. It should be out in the open. I think it's morally right to do, and it's also the right thing to do strategically. And I think that at the end of the day, we should also support Syria not being, territorially one. It should be cut into parts by sects, because we see what happens when it isn't. And one of those big parts of Syria should be the Kurd state. And I think that that's the end game. But in the meantime, we should for sure help the Kurds diplomatically, support morally and weapons wise when needed. And I think that if we don't do that, it's not a good thing to do morally. It's not moral, because these are our friends. These are people who suffered a lot like us, and suffered a lot because they were willing to help us in different situations throughout the history. And just like we're helping the Druze in the south, we should help the Kurds in other areas of Syria. So, Newroz, do you have anything else that you want to say at the end?
I just want to thank every Jewish person, every Israeli person who have been helping Kurdish people. Your heart is in the right place. And I want to ask, one question, for the Israeli leaders. What are you waiting for? What are you waiting for to have ISIS, to create a new conflict on your border? Then the next generation of Israeli children who have no idea what ISIS is, they have to go front lines? Help us. This will end. It's so easy. It's very easy. With a one phone call, you can do that. Like now we are at the place that yesterday the Foreign Ministry of Germany, she said, Erdogan has a right to keep Turkey safe. That's why we have to disarm the Kurds. So they want to take weapons from Kurdish forces who fought ISIS, give it to ISIS. Is that for real?
Yes.
It's time to act. Israeli leaders, it's time to act. I say it now. 5 years from now, if you don't do what I say, you will regret, big regret. You will say, yeah, when that girl say this. Please act. Please act. Is no time. Is no time.
And also, Newroz, the fact that you're worried about your identity being shown means, I think we could all surmise from this how dire the situation is and how scary it is for people there and for your family that's there. And so, first of all, I want to wish you and your family to be safe, but also that you shouldn't have to be worried in general. People should be able to feel safe wherever they live. And that's why it's also important for the Kurds to get their support, because they protect their people and they should be able to protect them no matter what. And so thank you so much for being with us. It's a very important issue. It's something that we're going to have to contend with in the next few weeks, months, days. And so not looking at the situation and turning our head because it's not comfortable is not an option. And so I think we need to do something about it. So thank you so much, Newroz, for being with us. It's a pleasure talking to you.
Thank you, Ariel. Thank you.
Thanks for tuning in to the Western Spirit podcast. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. And hit that notification bell so you never miss an episode. See you next time.